So, after learning about this and seeing that this is an issue, it reminded me of someone I really look up to, named Andrea Dworkin. She wrote this incredible book, P Men Possessing Women. And obviously, some people are going to have a lot of different views on this book and Andrea's opinion and perspective. But I think it's very important to hear because I learned a lot that I did not know when it came to the P word, how it is and can be, if not properly regulated. If there's too much free for all, rogueness, Wild West going on when it comes to this industry, the P industry, a lot of people get hurt. Real human beings are dehumanized. And so I want to read a little bit of what Andrea Dworkin had to say about the dehumanization of P. Andrea Dworkin, here goes. P happens to women. So this is a speech of hers. For 20 years, people that you know and people that you do not know inside the women's movement, with its great grassroots breadth and strength, have been trying to communicate something very simple. P happens. It happens. Lawyers call it what you want. Call it speech, call it act, call it conduct. Catherine A. McKinnon and I called it a practice when we described it in the anti-P civil rights ordinance that we drafted for the city of Minneapolis in 1983. But the point is that it happens. It happens to women in real life. Women's lives are made two-dimensional. And D, we are flattened on the page or on the screen. Our V blank are painted purple for the consumer to clue him in as to where to focus his attention, such as it is, which apparently is real, by the way, I looked it up. Our blank are highlighted so that he knows where to push. Our mouths are used and our throats are used for deep blank. I am describing a process of dehumanization, a concrete means of changing someone into something. We are not talking about V yet. We are nowhere near V. Dehumanization is real. It happens in real life. It happens to stigmatized people. It happens to us, to women. We say that women are objectified. We hope that people will think that we are very smart, and we use a long word. But being turned into an object is a real event. And the P object is a particular kind of object. It's a target. You are turned into a target, and red or purple marks the spot where he's supposed to get you. This object wants it. She is the only object with a will that says, hurt me. A car does not say, bang me up. But she, this non-human thing, says hurt me. And the more you hurt me, the more I will like it. When we look at her, this purple painted thing, when we look at her mouth, when we look at her throat, those of us who know her and those of us who have been her still can barely remember that she is a human being. In P, we literally see the will of women as men want to experience it. This will is expressed through concrete scenarios, the ways in which women's bodies are positioned and used. We see, for instance, that the object wants to be blank. And so there is a motive in P of self-penetration. A woman takes something and she sticks blank. There is P in which pregnant women, for some reason, which is horrible. By the way, this is a thing that I want to talk about really quickly. Obscenity is a crime. Like obscene images, it's an actual crime, which I didn't know that was real for me personally at all. I don't know if people know that here, but it's actually illegal. But if the male perspective on what is obscene is only respected when it comes to the male point of view, we're not going to see certain imagery change when we only have one perspective of what is obscene. And you have to remember, for years and years and years and years, women have not been able to even hold positions of power, credit cards, buy land, etc. Their voices weren't necessarily heard, respected, platformed. It's time for all of us collectively to maybe say, when is something obscene enough for us that there should be consequences and repercussions and change? And I honestly don't know. I think each person has their own perspective on what is obscene. But for me personally, when I see an image that I know is going to harm people, not just the ones in it, but also how it shows up in real life. And if those images are going to make us feel that human beings are friends, are sisters, brothers, whatever, if we start to disregard them as human beings, that's when I start to see an issue. It says a lot about our systemic issues and how we're viewing women, how we're seeing them. Are we really seeing them as friends? The impact and the harm that happens outside of the screen to women every day, being objectified, being dehumanized. They think it's just on the screen, but it's not. A lot of us live that day to day where we're not seen as human beings. Our law enforcement doesn't care. Criminal system doesn't care. We're liars. We're over exaggerating. The list goes on and on and on and on. And so what do? You know, I know everyone has their own opinion of pee, and valid. But we do have to collectively understand when these things start showing up in real life. And I do think when something is dehumanizing, it can make a lot of people not know they're no longer in a screen. And it's the whole chicken or the egg. But I really do think that if there were less dehumanizing images, videos, etc., of stigmatized people, that they maybe wouldn't be as harmed in real life, that we would be seen as human beings. We would have a lot more time in our lives to be human and do the things that other people do, like just do their job or go get coffee without feeling like everyone's looking at them blank on the internet. There is something to say about how we approach pee, and when something is obscene and when something is consensual and safe and respectful. And it's not that we need to get rid of everything. It's just that we need to be mindful of how images and videos can actually show up in our real lives. And I know personally from my own relationships that I've had in the past that I've had partners treat me in ways that I definitely knew they learned from blank, you know, not asking me if that was okay. It didn't feel consensual. And I think that's because a lot of children, after seeing all of those states, we're not learning about our bodies and our relationships with others properly. We're learning it on the internet. Now we're learning it through apps where we can literally pick someone in our classroom and dehumanize them and violate them and objectify them. So where's the end to this? It seems like it's just getting worse. And now anyone can be a victim. There's no person in the dark alley anymore. It's on your iPhone. And you can't really do anything about that. What are you gonna do, take phones away from everyone? I mean, I guess there's some pressure we can put on Apple and Google, et cetera. But when one goes away, another one pops up. And I think this is an issue that we all need to face internally when it comes to how we treat one another and how we realize how predatory behavior and the patriarchy has broomed us into allowing dehumanization of those around us. And where do we take a stand? I mean, honestly, I kind of feel like I want to protest like Apple or something like that to make sure. I got to look into this later tonight to see how many apps are on these platforms that kids can download, because there should be regulation there and there should be pressure there. It's just a video, man. It's just an image. It's just an app. Like, it's not actually you, right? That's probably going to be like the next future's victim blaming. Well, it's not actually you. It's you, but it's not you. And that's why this is so important to me, the aspect that isn't within AI, that isn't necessarily within technology. I think it all stems from this, dude. This problematic predatory behavior that it's infiltrating every single thing we get into is stemming from this, from work environments to relationships and bystanders and enablers and institutions. And the final thing is consequence. Where are the consequences? And if there are no consequences, what is going to stop this behavior? What is going to stop this?